Okay, in this example, we're gonna cover the decision stage and how to use anchors to make your stuff look good. So the first thing you do is you right click on process, hit create process. And this is gonna be about decision stages with anchors. So you hit next. Oh, I guess I did that before. So I'm just gonna put a 2 at the end of this. And hit next. And then you paste it in. And then you hit finish. And then you double click. And here we go. We've got a nice blank canvas. I'm going to zoom it in so it's maybe a little easier for you guys to see. But that ought to do it. All right. So in this example, we're going to compare 3 values, A, B, and C. So to do that, we're going to, this is a short click. You double click on data item, and then you click for one data item, and you click for another, and then you click for a third. You line those up real quick. All right. And we're going to call this first one A. And it's a data type of a number. And we're going to give it an initial value of 300. Okay. And this one's going to be B. And we're going to call this B. It's going to be a number. And the initial value, we're going to give it 150. And then the last one is C. We're going to make that a number, just like the other ones. And we're going to give it an initial value of, what did I want to do? 250. Doesn't really matter, but let's do 250. And then you hit OK. So in this example, we're going to try and determine which is the greatest of these 3 numbers, leveraging the decision stage. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to grab a decision stage. I'm going to put that there. We're going to drag 2 more. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is determine if A is greater than B. So we'll go to the decision stage. We're going to call this stage A is greater than B. And we're going to put in an expression. And we're going to use the expression builder. And we'll say greater than. And so if you click here, you'll see this. And we're going to put A is greater, and this will put greater than B. And we're going to paste it. And we're going to hit OK. All right. And then over here, we're going to do A is greater than C. A is greater than C. And the expression, we'll do it one more time. Logic greater than, and then we're going to go to our numbers and say A is greater than C. And then we're going to hit paste. I'm just going to copy this because, you know, it's much more efficient to type stuff. So I'm just going to hit OK. And then we're going to go to the third decision to determine if B is greater than C. And then I'm just going to paste the old value, and I'm going to put, yeah, it doesn't look right. I think you got to put that in brackets. Nope. Bracket, bracket, bracket. Oops. And hit OK. All right, and now we're gonna, let me move this down first because we need some more room because we gotta add in a calculation stage. Okay. we're going to add 3 calculation stages now. Okay, so you go to calculation and double click, and we go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to name this to A is the greatest. So this path will take us to where A is the greatest. Oops. And we're going to put a calculation in here that says A is the greatest. And then hit OK. And in this one, we're going to make this one C is the greatest. The description is C is the greatest. And always remember for your values, you got to put them in double quotes if they're text. And then OK. Oh, I forgot one thing. We need one more data value, and that is where we store the result. And you go there. Oops, come on. And this is the result. And this is going to be a value of text. And this is where we're going to tell you whether A is the greatest or B is the greatest or C is the greatest. Initial value is going to be blank. All right. So now we have all our points, and I'm going to sort of tie it all together. All right. And I mentioned we're going to talk about anchor values. Anchor values are used to make stuff look neat. So I'm just going to start off with this here, and we're going to start to tie it together. And the way you do that is with links. So you go from start to A equals B. And what's neat about the decision stage is when you connect them, it'll say yes, and it'll say no. Now you could switch them. I may do that later. I'm going to do that later. And then this is the use of an anchor. So you go here and here. So the way this things work, first you determine if A is greater than B. And if that's true, you determine if A is greater than C. And to follow that logic, if A is greater than B and C, then you know that A is the greatest. Okay, and so we're going to tie this all together. And we're going to store the result and result. I did a lot here. I'll be pretty happy if all this works out with one take. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset and then hit play. Oh, made a mistake, but I can fix that in a second. I didn't store the result there. So you put the result in here. You put the result in here. Oh, and that is going to be B is the greatest. And then that's going to be that. We're going to store. And the mistake I made is we didn't store it. So you take that and you store it here. And that should be okay. All right, so let me fix it first. The result, oh, that one's working, that one's good. C is the greatest. Put the result in there. And okay. And then B is there. Okay. That should do it. I'm going to cross my fingers this time. All right, so first you hit reset, and then you hit play. Well, it says C is the greatest, but as you can see, A is the greatest. So it looks like we have a logic issue, right? So Let's see, A is greater than B? No. Is A greater than C? This is, okay. So this will show you how to switch it up. So this is wrong. This should be yes, and this should be no. So the way to fix that is you right click on it and you switch it. And make sure. And this is also wrong, so you got to switch it. Okay, so now A is greater than B, A is greater than C, so A is the greatest, that is correct. A is greater than B, and B is greater than C. If it's no, then we know that C is the greatest, and if it is yes, then we know that B is the greatest. I think we got it here. So I'm going to hit reset and play. Okay, A is the greatest. And just to make sure this whole thing works, I'm going to go in, I'm going to change the value of B to 400. I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to play it. All right, B is the greatest, and it truly is the greatest. So thank you very much. This was the decision stage with anchor text. Just another example of how you can make things look cooler or neater. We're going to clean this up just a little bit before I end this lesson. So I'm going to take an anchor, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to take another anchor, and I'll put it here, and put in a link. So this I think is oops, so I didn't want to do that. You want to get rid of this one. Let's make sure we get that right, and get rid of this one. And this is just a neat way of doing it. So you go to your links and you go. And you go this. You see what I mean? I could clean it up further, but that's how it's done.